Israeli settlers and the IDF are once again desecrating Christian sites, going to Christian villages and pillaging and stealing their land. So this photo here is going viral of an IDF soldier putting a cigarette into a statue of Mother Mary's mouth. This was reported yesterday, and it's gaining a lot of traction. It caused actually a lot of condemnation, even by some governments. The government of Poland, the Foreign Ministry of the Republic of Poland, expresses its strong concern regarding another incident involving a soldier of the Israeli Defense Forces in Lebanon who showed disrespect towards the figure of Virgin Mary. Such actions offend the religious sentiments of Christians. Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the UN General Assembly in 1948, states that everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. By joining the UN, Israel accepted the organization's values as expressed in the declaration. This same principle of religious freedom was reflected in Israel's Declaration of Independence, BS. Also adopted in 1948, Lebanon, whose territory the incident occurred, is also a signatory. So, they're getting a lot of condemnation now. It doesn't really matter, though, because ultimately what we've noticed is this seems like it's a repeated pattern. And this is actually the Israeli newspaper Haaretz. And it says Israel's right is returning to the original holy war against Christians. So a rupture between the new Israel and Europe, stupidly framed as a holy war, would be yet another loss of judgment under Netanyahu and his allies' destructive rule. Even at a time when extreme images are more widespread than ever. Israelis footage of an Israeli soldier smashing a statue of Jesus in Christian village in southern Lebanon stood out for all the wrong reasons. The shock was global, forcing Netanyahu himself to declare that he was stunned and saddened, which of course is all BS. Then came Tuesday's assault on a Christian nun and researcher in Jerusalem. Violent contempt and rejection of the other, met with tepid condemnation at best, seems to have become the new rules of the game. Wow, I'm just recognizing that is, if 3 minimum attacks just in this brief period of time, from the initial sledgehammer against the statue of Jesus Christ to a nun getting pushed down to the ground, her head about to smash into that stone step, and then kicking her. And then immediately after, an Israeli soldier decides to put a cigarette in a statue of Mother Mary's mouth. So it seems like there's this repeated thing that's currently going on. Netanyahu and his nationalistic, Messianic, ultra-Orthodox coalition he surrounded himself with take pride in having turned Israel into the spearhead of war against extreme Islam. Under the banner in a display of folly, they've lumped together not only Hamas murderers, but also Palestinian Authority police officers, and even a Jew wearing a kippah bearing a Palestinian flag, all treated as enemies. And the article goes on, and basically what we have, this is a symptom of a deep alienation of the new Messianic and supremacist Israel from anyone who isn't fundamentalist Jew. Israel's icon smashers hate Christians just like they hate Muslims and secular Jews. That is pretty insane. You're only gonna see something like this written in Israeli media. You'd never ever see American media going this far, because ultimately they don't want to be branded as anti-Semitic, and that's exactly what the Anti-Defamation League and all of the rest of the, Zionist lobby really is going to go ahead and do when they see people condemning Israel's actions towards Christians or any other minority for that matter. Immediately, it's going to go towards false accusations of hate. So keep in mind, though, I mentioned settlers because just right now, there's not that many Christians left in the Israeli-occupied West Bank or the Middle East for that matter since 1948, because Israel's bombed the hell out of the Middle East. And it's annexing the West Bank, and it's stealing land, and it's terrorizing Palestinians. And now Israeli settlers are going into one of the very few Palestinian Christian villages in the occupied West Bank of Taybeh. And they're already basically settling and building outposts. So these photos were posted, this video was posted just yesterday. In Taybeh, the last entirely Christian Palestinian town in the occupied West Bank. Residents say Israeli settlers are intensifying efforts to push them off their land in what locals describe as a broader campaign of intimidation and ethnic cleansing. Here's the video here, and you'll see these settlers. lot of them are very young. A lot of them, of course, none of them are employed, and they're basically paid by the government, by Zionist organizations, to go about and just basically terrorize Palestinians until they leave. Taybeh is regarded the last Palestinian Christian village. Residents and church leaders say settlers have seized nearby hilltops and moved livestock onto their farmland. And they're going about putting all this graffiti on the town. Locals say that this is part of a broader campaign of intimidation, making daily life harder and reinforcing a pattern of ethnic cleansing. And they're continuously doing this sort of thing. Here's another video of them on Palestinian Christian land, and they're basically just building an outpost, hanging out. Keep in mind, they also brought tons and tons of their sheep, like dozens of their sheep and livestock. Where's that video of that? And they're just basically having their way. And look at that. Do you notice that the IDF is right there in the background, basically allowing all of this to happen?
Here, and obviously absolutely hate their job. Keep repeating us that settlers are allowed to be here.
This IDF soldier is smiling when they say this is private land, and they say, no, this is not private land, and he smiles. He knows. That's the thing. They know. They're smiling and hanging out. They know that it's private land. They know they're not allowed to be there. They let them do it because the settlers and the IDF are one, and they share the same ideology. They like the settlers. The settlers are doing their bidding. When settlers steal land in the occupied West Bank, when settlers terrorize Palestinians, they're doing the IDF's job for free. So, of course, the IDF is going to enable that. They support it, they allow it, and they partake in it. Because the IDF and the settlers are one. There is no difference. So when this lady... Whoa. There was a mosquito right there. I think I got it. So when this lady says that actually the case is, when the IDF soldier said actually to this lady, doesn't matter, they have a right to be here. In what other world do people have a right to just go on people's land, and then when you call the police tell you actually no, they're allowed to be there. Let them just do whatever they want to your land. Let them terrorize you. Let them steal your home. It doesn't matter. Because why? Well, because you're a useless Palestinian and you're subhuman. Ultimately, that's the belief system. That's the belief system. But you can't say that because it's considered anti-Semitic, apparently, by Jonathan Greenblatt. I mean, the things that these people go through continuously on a daily basis, and I showed you guys a lot, and we've interviewed Elise Kissia on my platform before, the Palestinian Christian living in Bethlehem that's also being terrorized by Israeli settlers. She was recently on Tucker Carlson and spoke about how she's just continuously being harassed by these settlers, had her home stolen, been kicked out, her home entirely bulldozed by the IDF, by the way, and once her home was entirely bulldozed, then the settlers came in and tried to settle her land after the IDF assisted by bulldozing her entire home. This is what they continuously do over and over. And we allow it. We allow it. Actually, Mike Huckabee knows about this, and Mike Huckabee just looks the other way. I was reading my comments a few weeks ago, and some of you guys were saying, actually, of course Mike Huckabee looks the other way because it's happening to Palestinian Christian, Palestinian Catholics, and Mike Huckabee doesn't care about them because he's an evangelical and he doesn't care. And if anything, he kind of likes that the settlers are going about doing that to Palestinian Christians. So I thought that was pretty interesting hearing that, but ultimately he doesn't care. Elise Kissia stated that she saw him. She saw him at Christmas in Jerusalem at I believe, the Church of the Nativity, and he was just completely ignoring in his own world, not caring when the pastor was even talking about about what Palestinians are going through there. Totally doesn't matter to him, just in one ear and out the other. So we'll have to see how things unfold moving forward. If you found this video interesting, I'd appreciate it if you guys just go ahead and click the subscribe button below and give it a thumbs up as well. It helps me reach more people like you. Also, one of the best ways you can support my channel is by joining as a member. So if you click the join button below next to the subscribe button, you get to see member-only videos from me. And also, if you see people in the comments and they have those emojis, like the JFK emoji and the Kafia emoji and the parrot emoji and the censored emoji, you can use those emojis too. If you just click the join button below next to the subscribe button, you get to access those and a lot more. I hope you guys found this video interesting, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye, everybody.